Hello, hello. My name is Tibbs, and I'm going to be doing some amateur shoutcasting for these matches that unfortunately otherwise wouldn't get to see spotlight online. And these were replay pack provided to me by somebody I met on the ladder about a year ago, and since then he's just excelled into the semi-pro scene, and he's somebody who coaches on Team Liquid and does a lot for the community, does some show matches, plays in some tournaments, and he's currently looking for a team, and he puts all his proceeds towards charitable organizations, towards helping the poor, that kind of thing, and I really dig that about this guy. So why don't we jump into this game? Up on the upper right of our map, Cloud Kingdom, we've got the pink Terran, who is not the friend that I'm talking about. I know I just had this freeze frame on this guy for a while, but his name is Soze. He is one of my buddy's practice partners, and he likes the color pink, which is cool by me. Everybody's got their preferences. Terrans seem to look good in pink. Maybe he'd prefer if I called it salmon. But other than that, I don't really know much about this guy. He does have Kaiser Soze's last name from The Usual Suspects, so probably wouldn't trust him with my family. Anyways, over to the lower left, we got the purple Zerg. His name is Akuji, and this is the guy that I was talking about. He's just a cool dude, fun to talk to, great player, and like I said, all his money that he makes from his StarCraft career goes towards charitable organizations, and I just really dig that about him. He's doing what he loves, and he's giving back to the community in the process. So we got some standard openings going on from both our peeps here. We got the supply depot going down on 10 at the ramp. Looks like he's gonna make his gearing up to make his barracks at 12. Probably gonna make a gas at 13. All that good stuff. No pool yet, and he's on 14. Just made his 15th drone, so probably just gonna be a 15 hatch. And let's talk about this map for a minute for those of you that don't watch the GSL, because you're not gonna find it on the ladder. This is a GSL map. GSL, you should definitely check it out at gomtv.net. It's the top global StarCraft 2 league. It's probably the top StarCraft league in the world. Played in Korea with all the bests, and a few international people make it in every so often, but those Koreans are just so good. Hopefully we can beat them out sometime for a GSL title. Until then, we're just going to be shoutcasting some amateur matches in purple and pink and having a good time. So back to this map, we got Cloud Kingdom. You got your nice semi-big open space for the main. In the natural, we've got kind of a condensed area, choke point, got some ledges in the back, kind of susceptible to drops, a little bit of harass, but other than that, pretty secure. Very close to the edge of the map, so kind of hard for mutas to get in and out of the main from the natural and whatnot. You got a tight choke followed by a ramp with rocks that can be opened up for a little wider entry and exit, and very similar to Tal'Darim, we go over to this third. However, there's no rocks at the third. Same kind of entrance, and then a back door going around to the middle where the Xel'Nagas are, and a couple open spaces. So anyways, back to this game. We got a bunker rush coming up by Soze. A little late, just trying to put on some pressure, but caught right at the drone transfer, so Akuji's got a ton of drones to take care of this. He did plop that down right before the hatchery finished, so he was able to get it in the mineral line before the creep was there, but with this many drones, there's just not that much that's going to happen. Does fin the Marine all the way back and lets the bunker finish. I don't really agree with that, and in the process gets his SCV stuck and killed, so maybe he was trying to put it back there to repair in time, but with that many drones, it's just not going to happen. So he lost a bunker, didn't even get to salvage it or cancel it. It's 100 minerals down the tube and not really much accomplished. No drones killed. A little mining time lost, but not really enough to constitute that heavy of a commitment. So we got 4 Zerglings made by Akuji. Good number. Good number to poke around, see what's going on. But not an overcommitment to hurt your economy in the early stages of the game. Got the double queen happening, but I believe, no, those are his first 2 queens. Speed on the way. Overlord popping out. 2 spine crawlers down already. It's pretty preemptive. Hasn't even scouted his opponent yet, but does see the reactor Hellion, so good call on those spine crawlers. And behind it, it looks like Soze's making a Banshee transition instead of the usual lifts up his orbital. That's not very usual. I meant the usual expand behind the reactor Hellion, but instead he just lifts up his orbital and decides not to mine for a little while. Maybe some new Gosu strat that we haven't seen. So in the meantime, we got these Hellions coming out from Soze, coming over. Got a couple at the Xel'Naga already, taking some map dominance. And he's probably going to cruise over here to try to poke at Akuji, but he's already got two spine crawlers, a third on the way. There's just not much that these guys are going to be doing. They try to poke in, get whacked at immediately, and back right up. So in the meantime, we got Cloak on the way before the Banshee, and I don't think Akuji knows this is coming. He did see the tech lab on the barracks, but he didn't see a starport. So the tech lab's a little peculiar behind a reactor Hellion. Usually you do see that command center coming up immediately, but maybe he thinks it's a bio transition. For the moment, he's just got 3 Zerglings, some spines, and just making a ton of drones. Getting all 4 gases on top of the layer on the way, so he could be going into a heavy Mutalisk play, possibly into an Infestor play, early Infestor, but more than likely that Mutalisk play. We all love Mutalisks. They're very fun to run around with and annoy people and all that good stuff. So we got the cloaking field finishing with the first Banshee just now getting out. So Cloak's going to be done in plenty of time. Looks like we had a pause going on. No big deal. And looks there drops the Spire immediately, and he's got a ton of spines to protect. Really wants to be safe with this over-droning going on. And he does have the layer up. Looks like an Overseer is morphing. Where's that Overseer at? Looks like his proxy guy was morphed into an Overseer for scouting purposes. But in the meantime, we got the Cloak coming in and just now making a second Overseer. So might take some hurt. Looks like we've got 2 kills so far on this Banshee. Only 2 drones, not that much for a Banshee investment. And it looks like he's got 4 queens and the Overseer gonna take it out. Doesn't even get that queen and pop out. In the meantime, sees everything. No response from Soze to kill off that Overseer or even shoo it away. Finally does get a couple Marines over there to push it out. Has gotten his expansion in the meantime. Still no orbital. There it goes. And bunker down. Supply depot down. Probably going to try to wall that off a little bit. Constrict movement. And a second Banshee comes in after he takes out a few creep tumors with the Hellions. And just poking at the spine crawler. Doing work. Gets pushed back by these queens, looks like. Maybe not. Ooh, don't lose that. Oh, gets back and cloaks. At least nobody will see you when you run away. And decloaks. That's a little bit of a waste of energy, but that's alright. We still love you because you're wearing pink. Now he's gonna break these destructible rocks because they are destructible, fortunately for him. And in the meantime, just doing a transition into, looks like, lots of Hellions still, making another factory, so it would be up to 3 factories. Making a Viking out of the starport, I like that. He's got no bio on the map, and that'll be a good way to fend off some overlords. But in the meantime, the Mutalisks come out, snap that Banshee, and they're going to go ahead and drive these guys away. It looks like these ones are going to fly over here and intercept these Hellions, push them all the way back. And at this point, looks like Akuji's taking his third. Good choice. At this point, Akuji's looking really good. He's got 43 drones. Not as many as I thought he would have with that much droning and that much minerals, but maybe he's behind on larva, missing a few injects. No big deal. And in the meantime, we got a single Viking and 2 Marines to fend off these mutas. So they're just jumping in here and doing a ton of damage. Killing off some SCVs. We got 2 kills on that guy. We got 0 kills on that guy. 3 kills on that guy. 3. So about 10 down so far. What's that lovely thing we all like to look at? Units killed. Control R. Looks like 7 workers killed so far. Going for this tech lab. Gonna get blue flame before it finishes. Bummer. So it looks like we got a couple Thors on the way. Gonna fend off these Mutalisks for the time being, and pow, 1 shot, 2 shots. He does have them nicely boxed, so they're not taking splash damage, but does lose 1 muta, and the SCVs get here in time to repair. So all in all, loss of 2 mutas, For the amount of damage he did, great, but he could have gotten out there earlier without those casualties. So after all is said and done, we got 8 workers killed, lots of units killed. Akuji's looking pretty good, got his 3rd up, got a nice supply lead, up to 52 drones now, down to 47. What is he making? 6 spine crawlers and the infestation pit. So we'll see if he's going straight to hive or if he wants to make some infestors, but 6 spine crawlers, that's a lot of spine crawlers. I suppose he doesn't really have a ground army and does want to defend against these Hellions, so not a bad choice. In the meantime, just making a ton of Mutalisks, but still only 1 Spire that's not upgrading. I would really like to see him get another Spire, do some of that double upgrades, especially with this much money floating. In the meantime, making 5 Overlords, not enjoying that supply cap, and coming in with a healthy amount of Mutas, trying to do some hurt. Gets these SCVs while they're making, killing some supply depots, and at this point, we got a lot of Mutas on the map from the Zerg. Terran's kind of confined to 2 bases, Zerg's got 3 going healthy, decent creep spread, making himself aware, and Soze is going to counter this by just making a ton of Thors, looks like. I'd really like to see him make some more bio in this situation, maybe a few Vikings to support those Thors, help zone out the Mutalisks. Because for now, these Hellions aren't really doing much. He's not really using them for harass. He can. There's like a bajillion spine crawlers on the map. And the only army of Zerg at this point is Mutalisks. And they're not that well upgraded. So I do like the transition into Heavy Thor. There's no real need for tanks. A few tanks put in there to help counter those spine crawlers and push in slowly would be nice, but you know, just Heavy Thor doing work, not a bad choice. But there's just, against a critical mass of Mutalisks, especially with this hive on the way, which is most likely going to be Broodlords, Thors are just not going to do it. And with those Vikings, not only would they help zone out, looks like these Mutalisks coming in doing a bunch of damage. Not only would those Vikings help zone out these Mutalisks, especially with the range of the Thor, but they would help with that Broodlord transition, so I'd really like to see that. But for now, we just got an idle starport, not really making any medevacs because they got no bile to heal, and yeah, I'm not really liking the position that Soze's got himself in. Without that kind of zoning, without that kind of mobility, he's not going to be able to take his 3rd. He's just kind of combined to 2 bases, and when you're going really heavy Thor Hellion, kind of this mech style, you really need that 3rd base for the extra gas. Looks like he's not even really utilizing the gas he has, so it's not that big a deal, but it looks like the Muta's coming in, magic boxing 1 Thor, might get a 2nd, they do get a 2nd, so not a bad trade at all. Akuji's just taking a demanding lead, continuing to pump out a ton of spine crawlers, and looks like he's still just chilling on 60 drones. He got an excess of minerals as it is, doesn't really need those minerals, and we do see the Greater Spire. Looks like he's making 12 drones now as he takes his 4th, and we got a little bit of a Hellion run by, finally putting these mobile units to use. Doesn't quite get that creep tumor before he finishes, runs into a ton of spine crawlers, and that was a very failed attempt. Looks like he's going to get in here, get a couple pot shots off before getting taken out very easily. Got maybe 1 kill there, not a good exchange. And now we just got queens running around spreading creep, a ton of Mutalisks. It looks like 26 Mutalisks there, if I'm not mistaken. But they're still only on 1-0. I really would like to see the double spire going on with this kind of very heavy Sky Zerg play, and we do see that Terran is finally deciding to move out. He's got a ton of SCVs with him for repair, but as soon as that happens, Akuji smartly pops in with these Mutalisks, way too many for the turrets to deal with, and just wrecking them, doing some pain. Gonna try to magic box this Thor, does snap it, only loses 2 mutas in the process. Good exchange, 2 mutas for a Thor. Going after this armory with +2, so he's going to delay those upgrades. And Soze is just saying, hey man, I can't move back at this point. These guys are too immobile. He's already done enough damage. He's just going to move forward. Possibly not the best decision. These mutas did just kind of wreak havoc in his bane. But now, Akuji's got this giant death ball to deal with. We got 6 Thors, a ton of SCVs, and 17 Hellions. So he is going to deny this 4th. Does take his own third in the meantime. I guess that's a good location because it's not being spotted by an overseer, but he's still got this death ball to deal with. Now, because he doesn't have any tanks with this army, he's not going to be able to take out these spine crawlers without taking shots in the meantime. So he is plowing through here pretty healthy, but he's taking a lot of shots. Repair going down. These guys are on auto repair instead of repair the Thor queues, so they are repairing themselves first. Not the best decision, but now we got these brood lords in the fray, and with the magic box on top, it's just no contest. Akuji's going to take this match. Yeah, I guess my biggest critique to Soze would have been make some Vikings if you're going to do that heavy Thor play. No problem to mix some Marines in, especially when you got this excess of minerals. And for Akuji, you know, he played really well. He got all those spine crawlers down. He was very susceptible to early bio pushes, but I guess he knows his companion isn't known for those and just kind of played a little bit risky, but with those heavy static defenses. And yeah, got his economy rolling strongly, was able to do that. I would like to have seen the double spire for more upgrades because we've only got 1-0 on these guys, and he's definitely got the money for it and has had it. But other than that, well played. Nicely zoned out. Kept him in his base with those mutalisks, and then was able to power up behind it. So good game. Alright, hope you guys like this amateur cast, and there will be more to come. Thank you.